Hey, let's just dip. Leave this shit open right now.
Yeah.
Just put a video on. Put a video of a podcast. Shoot a podcast about the video of a podcast.
Man, that's like
and then we go in the back and we watch the podcast filming a podcast.
This is like a really good
call
idea.
it podcasts.
Speaking of podcasts, I mean that's a really good Christopher Nolan. I mean that's like a Christopher Nolan freaking
Bro,
movie
honestly,
right
that's
there.
Max fucking director.
That's like
right
half
there.
of the movies that he made.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, man. Good to see you. Good to see you, Dave.
Okay, that's your camera. That's my camera. So if you ever want to look at anything and say anything like crazy, stupid, hilarious, spooky, hilarious, whatever.
Sounds good to me.
This is my boy. This is my best friend, Rafael. Piss
up,
expert, fucking med student, fucking look at the tattoo on his arm. This guy's definitely buff as fuck. Man, this guy has everything. Social status to the roof. No, I'm kidding. Glazing hard. This is my boy. We went to high school together.
Mm-hmm.
We got into engineering together, except
We
he
did.
fucking bailed me out.
No, dude, I'm still an engineer. Biting
How
my
the
heart.
fuck are you an engineer?
Dude, are you kidding me?
Hey, I think
What's an
honestly,
engineer?
why did you stop engineering?
What's an engineer? You see a
Someone who's
problem.
curious and solves a problem.
There you go.
That's it.
Dude, I just fell in love with pee.
Okay,
I see a problem, bro. People be urinating all sorts of things nowadays, man.
You can't just say I love pee. You got to say why do you love pee?
Listen.
What got you into piss so much?
Listen, man. One day I woke up.
Yeah.
I peed. It wasn't yellow.
Damn.
Shook me to
What was it? What was it? Green?
shook me to my core, dude.
Wait, you said if it's red, you have your bladder cancer?
Dude, it either means you got some kidney stones or
Gender reveal.
You gotta if you're doing a general review with your pee, then, I mean that's a big problem. I mean if it's blue, you know it's a boy. If it's pink, you either got bladder cancer or it's a girl, and it's kind of hard to tell.
Now it's a 50-50. So
Dude.
then whenever you go for the test
Bro,
round 2,
dude.
it's do I have a kid or am I dying?
Dude, you need to get like 2-step verification on that thing, man. Like, I don't know, like you
Two-step
gotta like
verification
type in
on
your
your
password
piss.
and get like a little text after, Do I have bladder cancer, kidney stones? What's
Oh,
going on?
fuck, that's
Or you have a
funny.
girl, which is kind of dope. Like that would be the best case situation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What if you have both? You ever heard like ¿Por qué no los dos, right?
Like
Así
what, you have like
multiplied.
twins or something?
Multiplied.
You just got like kind of like double the trouble.
What if you got twins, but like you
Like,
got
you
a
got-
kid and cancer, they're twins.
Well, things
Damn.
come in twos usually, right? Why wouldn't it be that
Always
way?
better than twos.
It's always better.
Two's
than
better
twos,
than
man.
one.
Hey, it's a life-changing experience. And you got a reason to live, man.
Yeah.
2 reasons.
2 of them.
2 of them, man.
Not one.
But yeah, I mean, long story short, like, yeah. Look, I am an engineer, man. I'm a urine engineer.
All
I'm
right,
an engineer
mister.
of health problems.
Okay, you're an engineer. Bring the mic a little closer, might be.
Yes. Hello.
You could twist
Hello,
this.
everybody.
Damn, we're doing it.
Oh, this thing can twist around.
Yeah, there you go. Twist
That's
and bend
pretty
it.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this dude, he first thought I was fresh off the boat. Just came from Armenia because
Yeah.
I mean, I had a slick fucking back hair. I had blue pants.
Yep.
Whoever let me wear those pants is fucking ridiculous.
Mhm.
I had all those shoes.
You had
right?
all those shoes.
This guy was a big
They're
nerd.
pointy too.
Massive nerd. But anyways, became really close friends. Went to San Diego for our robotics competition.
Yeah.
Absolutely dicked the fuck around. Got 4th place.
Hey, listen.
Bro, we watched
We made
all
it.
of Prison Break, ate food with their fingers, got locked out of... Who the fuck was Ben Gilbert?
Dude,
I don't know why that
dude,
just hit my head.
I'm genuinely so sorry.
Why
if you're
was
watching
he
this right
there
now.
in our room?
I don't remember.
Well,
I don't
who's
remember.
it? Cole, right? Cole.
Cole Sprouts? I don't
Cole
know.
Sprout, yeah.
Cole Sprouts, man.
What the fuck?
I don't know, but look, long story short, yeah, I mean, I thought you were fresh off the boat when we first met.
Yeah.
How old were we? Like 16?
Around.
I don't know.
No.
something-
15.
I mean, you basically were. You came from Hollywood, and that's basically,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a foreign country if you ask me, man.
Listen, bud, you live
But-
in Pakistan.
I don't live in
fucking-
Pakistan, okay?
All right. Sorry. I apologize.
Can't say that
Anyways,
during these fires, man.
So we...
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we got close. One day we're like, after San Diego, we're like, oh, I can't wait to live with this guy. One day we're going to do it.
Yep.
We ended up living together. Stole everything in our apartment complex and put it in our apartment.
Yep. And we didn't actually steal anything. It was more so just borrowing
We
things. you know?
borrowed it, and then you definitely borrowed. Hold on. You gotta say the story of how you took the fucking hand sanitizer machine.
Dude, okay, listen, it's not a big deal. I saw hand sanitizer. And I was like, this
It's
would
in the
fit-
elevator, mind you. There's a hand sanitizer machine in the elevator, and we
Look.
always go by and smack the fuck out of it.
Yeah, and one day it fell down, and I was like, okay, well, it's no use on the floor. It would look really good on our Zillow listing. So I just, we borrowed it. We
And as
placed
a
it.
vodka
But
dispenser.
It was a vodka dispenser. But see that we did some engineering there. Instead of the
Yeah.
hand sanitizer, we put vodka in there, and it was just
That's
like a little
crazy
shot
hand
glass.
gesture, brother, man.
Hey, listen, man. Listen, okay? It is what it is. But yeah,
Uh,
long story short, we got close. We lived together for, how long was it?
2
3
years.
years?
2
2, 3
years.
years?
2 years.
It was a freaking awesome experience. We learned a lot
Then you
about life.
replaced me with Peter.
And I replaced you with my homie Peter. We love you, Peter.
Fuck that guy.
Hey, no slander around here, okay?
Nah, we like Arthur. We don't like Peter.
He's good too. He's good. He's all right. He's okay. Whenever he shows around, it's
Whenever
fine.
his face comes up.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, long story short, yeah, man. So, what's the name of this podcast?
The name of it is Shared Time. I thought of it because it's like, well, obviously, I shared a lot of time with you. I shared a lot of time with Arsene. Like, different people I shared different experiences with. This came up after I was at the gym. And this dude just complimented me because, like, I take pictures of myself.
You're like buff or something?
Yeah, I'm
nice.
there, right? And he didn't want to get in the way of the camera, so he just complimented me. And I was like, sick. So he just sit there and, like, had a conversation. This dude just came from Africa. Okay. Started his own business, started his own journey for fitness and gym and all that stuff. And
Sick.
has nobody here. So I was like, dude, it got me thinking, what if like everybody around me is just living a completely different life, you know? Somebody could give me advice in different aspects of work. Someone could give me different aspects of what life experiences they went through and all that stuff. So what I realized is I share my time at the gym with all these people and I still don't know what any of them do before or after. Like with you, I shared my time in high school, in college. We know what we did, right? Now, I mean, you're in your own path. You're in USC. You're doing your thing. I'm working. I'm doing my thing. It's not like we're any different as friends. But now we don't share that same time that we do. So there are gaps and fillers that we just find out when we do meet each other and we talk about those things. But it's cool to like sit down and listen to people that you haven't really ever had a conversation with and trying to see what experiences they've went through, what got them into like the snow globe about it all is what got you in the gym. Right. That's always like a thing for me, not just gym, but what got you on the health and fitness journey? What got you into like feeling like you could do anything you want as long as you're mentally and physically healthy. Right. And all these people that are at the gym, they're doing that exactly. They're there to be healthy mentally and physically. So like I'm sharing my time with them, but then I want to know what else they do on the outside, what experiences and stories they could give me. And who the fuck is elephant walking upstairs?
Someone's pounding upstairs.
Andre? No, yeah, that's like the moral of the story. Most of the people here, I've said my story on the first episode. I gave like a little as what got me started into things. But yeah, I mean, you tell me, man. You're in USC. First of all, I don't know a lot of geniuses, okay? I don't know any geniuses. I don't consider myself a genius. I know one genius. I lied to myself just now. This motherfucker. Like, it's not even a joke. I'm not trying to, like, glaze you or, like, you know? Like, we're not glazing right now. Hold on, pause. But my parents, my cousins, my best friends, all of their friends, and everyone knows the story of Rafael. To give, like, a little glimpse, we sat in an Irvine apartment with us and Tyler, Josh and stuff, and this guy's like, guys, I had a dream last night. I woke up and I wrote it down. He had a dream of the theory of relativity and multi-dimensions, and so he wrote down how time is dimensionless and decided he's gonna open his eyes at 4 a.m., type it out and go back to sleep.
Shit happens, man.
No, what the fuck does it? But yeah, no, so for someone who's in USC, someone who has extensive classes, somebody who has a lot of things, a lot of stress. I mean, you have a lot of loans, right? You have family time you got to take care of. You got a long drive to even get to USC because you don't live there. How do you manage your time? Because obviously you're physically fit, right? You're healthy. You're not allowing yourself to go overboard in the sense of I'm studying, I'm doing this, I can't get active, I can't move. You still get your exercise in, obviously in a different standpoint. You don't work out the way I do, but you still do your thing and you look great. So what do you do? How do you put your time towards that?
First of all, just thank you. That's awesome, but I am not a genius. I am absolutely not a genius.
No, humble people are geniuses.
No. Genuinely, I'm not. I'm a firm believer that in this world, yeah, it's like, you know, everybody's born with a certain potential in their life.
Right.
But realistically, the only thing that matters is how hard you're willing to work to achieve whatever percentage of that potential you're able to.
Yeah.
And I don't think the person with the highest potential is so much significantly different from the person with the lowest potential. Yeah. It depends. You know, we have Andre. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We love you, Andre. I'm just joking.
Jokes always.
No, like, jokes aside, yeah, like, I don't think there is a significant difference. And yes, people have significantly different situations that might alter how much of their potential they're able to achieve. But in terms of horsepower in your brain, there's not such a massive, drastic, difference between the highest level people and what you might consider, quote unquote, the lowest level. But what really sets people apart is their work ethic and how hard they're able to work. just for, I guess, a little bit of context, I am a medical student at USC, as Dav was saying. I'm in my third year now officially because we just finished our second year.
So fourth year is after four and you're done, and then residency.
4 I'm done, and then residency,
bro.
and then residency.
Flew.
So officially, I'm a MS3. We call it third year medical student. Technically, it's not. I haven't been in medical school for 3 years, but the way our curriculum is scheduled is like we kind of fit the first 2 years in a year and a half. So everything's like really crammed together, and then we take our licensing exam, which I'm taking 1 week from today, actually.
Damn.
And then boom, I start my third year. So I'm like in that transition.
Birthday?
What's up?
The day before my birthday, or
the day before your birthday?
Fuck.
Thursday.
Beautiful.
Thursday. So your birthday.
The day of my birthday, you're taking it.
The
but
day
not
of your birthday, but we're doing like a Havak thing over the weekend. But anyways, so shit gets busy, for lack of better words. And sorry for any vulgar language that I'm using.
Oh man, but it's fucking 18 plus podcast, 21 plus podcast.
Beautiful. And for all my USC friends, I love you. Anyways,
UCI.
Look, things get very busy. That's absolutely true. But my philosophy has always been that if you find your why, it will always be able to drive you through the how.
Is this another fucking moment that I need to write down? Rafa's quotes. I have a notes app of how many quotes you've given me. That made me fucking smile. Holy shit.
If you find your why, it will always drive you through the how. That's a guarantee. Damn. And, you know, things like what you asked me about how you fit working out, this and that. For the longest time in my life, I would work out because I wanted to look good, or I wanted to feel like, oh, I'm strong and this and that. But the last like 3-4 years of my life, it completely changed. Yeah. It completely changed in the way that I was pursuing working out. And mainly because when I was kind of pursuing it with the intention of looking good or getting big or getting strong, I wasn't consistent with my workouts. I wouldn't value it the way that I value it now.
Right.
But once I realized that, no, when you exercise, you don't exercise for your body, but for your mind.
Yeah.
It completely changed everything for me. So I literally implemented it into my schedule, like almost like a religious thing. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, anything is better than nothing.
Yeah, things get busy. Before I would want to work out for like 2 hours. You're going there, 100%. You're on your phone, you're scrolling, whatever. You're at the gym. But things get busy. But 30 minutes to an hour for your mind. Is that a sacrifice that you can't make? That's 30 minutes that you're regularly just gonna be scrolling over TikTok, which by the way,
that's why people just make excuses, man.
It's an excuse. My point is that if you value it and you value your mental health and you value just your health overall, you have to implement it into your day. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can go on a walk. You can do a 30-minute walk. Just do something, you know? Obviously, I'm a medical guy, so sometimes I think of it from the medical perspective. And the way I thought of it in my brain is this. When you exercise, you know better than anybody else. Your body releases cortisol, right? You start releasing the stress hormones. Well, you know what? Cortisol is a great thing and a bad thing at the same time. You want it in an optimal level to make you focus, to make you, you know, get after it, to keep you on your toes in a sense, but like focused and healthy and strong and, you know, just awake. But whenever it's too low, you're a little bit too chill. Right. Whenever it's too high, you're overly like stimulated, and it kind of actually starts to act like a disturbance because you're just highly stressed all the time. But working out is like your way of training your body to deal with stress, because it releases that cortisol and you start physically becoming better at regulating it. Right. So that in your life, when you encounter situations that spike your cortisol or you get stressed, you naturally, now I don't know the exact biochemistry behind it. I can't sit here in line and say like I've done all sorts of cortisol studies, but if we're talking about testosterone, it's a different freaking
that
question.
We're gonna get into.
We'll get into that.
Testosterone's
that
a great
I can
subject.
talk about. But as far as cortisol, the way it works in my simple-minded brain is, you know, if you're constantly being encountered and you're physically forcing your body to make cortisol, and you're constantly being you're being like doused in a sense, you know, where you're working out, you're pushing your body, you're doing this and that, you're taking cold showers or whatever it is, you know, you literally get used to it, and you start getting better at regulating stress. You can start getting better at taking on like very difficult and high level tasks, and overall it's just like an overall improvement for your mind, your body, and your overall life. So I don't see exercise as this thing of it's like an extracurricular that you fit in when you can. No, I see it as a thing that it's a mandatory part of your daily routine.
Absolutely.
That absolutely has to be fit in for your life, for your mind, for your body, for your soul, whatever it is. So that's the way I started thinking about it, and I don't think about it anymore. It's just something that I do. Now, it's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I can't say that every single day for the last 2 months I've worked out. No, there's been off days. There's been a couple of days here and there I missed this and that. But overall, even if I can't hit the gym that day for whatever reason, I get called into clinic or things get busy, man, I'll go do 100 push-ups at home.
Bro, it doesn't take any time.
It takes no time.
Like, the thing is, like, so many of these people that want to even start getting into the gym, they have so many things they could do until they need the gym to improve the rest of it. You have so much around you. Your environment around you has so much that you could use.
Yeah.
Like you said, going on a walk. Like you said, going on a run, uphill walk, downhill. Like uphill walking is the same thing as stepping on a Stairmaster, going on a treadmill. You don't need a gym for that. Just go to a hill and walk. Yeah. Right? It's not that hard.
Exactly.
If you want to do anything else, like sit-ups, push-ups, crunches, like there is enough to maintain health. But if you want to reach a certain goal, I understand you should get into a gym. But like nobody even has that drive to even do that in the first place. There's so much basics that you could do that you don't need any other help that you should pay for. Yeah. That you could just do it at the comfort of your own home. But the problem with that is the comfort of your own home. My problem with people, not my problem with people, but my like the thing that I see that people have a problem with is being too comfortable. Yeah. And I've always said this, like, in life, you have to find comfort in the uncomfortable. 100%. And that's always. If you're ever too comfortable in a situation, you start settling and you start getting lazy and you start making excuses as to why you're lazy. Like the number one, I think the bubble around all of this is your fucking bed. Your bed is meant to go in for sleep and to get out of sleep. You should not be touching your bed at any other time of the day.
There's a couple other things you can do.
All right. So when your parents are home and there's a lot of noise. Okay. But no, you fucking dickhead.
I'm a urologist. Of course I'm a dickhead.
I'm a urologist. I'm going to be thinking about that all the time.
You want to know a funny joke that I said once?
What's up?
Before we get back to this conversation,
go crazy.
I remember it was like a stupid ass thing. Stupid little medical joke, guys. But I said, what's the difference between urologists and neurosurgeons?
What?
We both work with dickheads.
You're fucking dumb.
It's dumb, but you know, it's true.
Yeah, we both work literally and figuratively both.
The question is, which one's the most important head, man? I don't know.
See,
I chose my field for a reason.
Time. Why one when you can have two? Fucking hell.
But to go on what you were saying, 100%, man. I always say that comfort is the killer of progress. You know, people are capable of more than they think. That's a guarantee. People have way more control over their life than they choose to believe.
100%.
You know, yes, we can't control everything that happens to us, but you can 100% control how you react to it and what you're going to do about it. Right. You know, 99.9% of life is lived through the decisions you make and how you react to things, you know? Only 0.00001% is things actually happening to us, you know? Something terrible happens, some tragic accident happens.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
You can't control.
It's terrible, it's tragic.
Right.
We've all been through it, we've all seen it, and you know what? I've been blessed that life's been relatively good. So I can't speak too much, but we've all seen tragedy in one shape or form, and things can get worse. But tragedy is one instant second. It's 0.00001%. It's your choice what you do with it. It's your choice how you react to it. It's your choice what you do for moving forward. Right. Because there's two options that are always at the table. You either sulk and you lose and you essentially let a situation control you versus you controlling the situation, or you get up, you dust yourself off, you accept that this thing happened, this is terrible, but take ownership of what you can do about it. Anyways, like a loved one died. It's terrible. There's nothing good about that. No. There's nothing good about that. But you have two options. What are you going to do?
It's okay to do both for a period of time.
Of course.
You need to deal with your time and your emotions.
Both are needed, and they're not mutually exclusive.
100%.
But they can be happening at the same time. You can be dealing with the personal feelings that you're going through, and you're digesting it, understanding it. But meanwhile, you have also the choice to be the person who stands up with their chest out, with their head up high, and functions as the shoulder to cry on, functions as the person that can be relied upon, functions as the person that everybody can trust and look to and can lead. That's a choice. You can say, this tragedy happened and it's horrible and it's terrible and I'm broken. Yeah. It breaks me inside. But regardless of it, despite it, I am still going to move forward and help and do what I can to take care of those people that I love. It doesn't matter what situation it is. And look, we're obviously talking about the most extreme scenario. And
Yeah, I mean,
we can dial it back down to simple things.
but
As
the thing
workouts.
is, that's what people. It's not even like the fact of like how extreme the scenario is. It's how many levels and ways and pathways that people can find to make an excuse as to why they don't do certain things in their life.
Well, that's the exact thing about whenever I say comfort kills progress. Because you know what the thing is? I haven't met a single person in my life that hasn't told me that they dream of something bigger.
Yeah.
Everybody I know, they say like when they're kids, even, you know, when you're young and you're naive and you dream for something big.
Yeah.
There's not a single person I've met who kind of goes like, I've never wanted anything. I'm chill. Maybe there's some. Maybe like, you know, the world's a bell curve. Maybe on the very low end of the bell curve, some people are just kind of like, yeah, I don't really give a hell. Like, I don't care. But I guarantee you, even those people, most of them, they've convinced themselves that they cannot actually aspire for the things that they dream for, and they've just convinced themselves to be comfortable versus mental, they actually are comfortable. I haven't met a kid who doesn't dream. I haven't met a young adult who in their heart doesn't feel like there's something greater that they can aspire for. But you know what the problem is? We set these long-term goals for ourselves and we pursue it, let's say passionately, and things happen in our life and we start chasing short-term gratifications. We want to feel good now. We do things things distract us and things throw us here and there. And that's part of life. That's natural. That's called being a human being.
Yeah,
but you slowly start losing sight of that long-term goal. And then what starts happening? You start making excuses. And then the worst part is you start convincing yourself that, no, that thing wasn't attainable. Like, I never really wanted it in the first place. And you make up lies to make yourself feel okay for being comfortable.
Exactly. The mental aspect of things is crazy what people don't understand. You can convince yourself that something is good. You could convince yourself that something is evil.
100%.
You have the 100% power to do that. Whenever you get too lazy, like you were saying, I've had that happen to me. I think everybody has.
I have too. Everybody has. You'd be lying.
Has.
Nobody's born like it's running.
Yeah, it's a fact of did it happen to you? Did you learn from it? And did you move on from it and not let that happen again? Versus did it happen to you? Yes. Are you going to keep happening it and making it happen? Yes. But like I've had it happen before where I tried something and I talked about this in the last podcast too. I tried something just for like my future reference and I got sidetracked from it. Like major sidetrack because I got very fucking lazy. Like to the point where I didn't. Like, my job was personal training, right? So I could get up and leave the house whenever I wanted because it was based off my schedule at the time. I didn't have to be up at a certain time to go clock in at work. So I would be lazy as fuck, stay up, sleep whenever, wake up whenever, do whatever. When I had that lazy ass fucking mentality, I made myself believe that no, this isn't the way. This isn't gonna happen. It's not gonna be true. It's not gonna happen. You know, this isn't the future. It's not gonna provide for me. It's not gonna help me out in any way, shape, or form. I fucking believe that. And that was terrible. That's really fucking bad because you realize how much the mind is actually how much capabilities the mind has. If you're able to convince yourself, imagine what else you could do. Like you just tricked your own mind, your own brain into convincing yourself that this is not the right path. That's all through your own laziness and your own actions. So yeah, like you were saying, like even how the conversation started, if you're comfortable in any position you're in and you're going to stay comfortable forever, that means you're never going to strive for more. That means whatever you're at right now, you're content with it. You're at a stalemate with it. And that's fine to the point where if you already have, your life set up, you have your kids, you have your future, you have everything done for you. Now you're content. You cannot be content at the age of 20.
No.
You can't even be content at the age of 30.
Yeah.
There's a very few people that have reached that point of success that they fucking pushed themselves from out of their chairs to get up and do whatever they can. So by the time they're 30, 35, that they're relaxed and they're settled. Their parents, their family, their kids, everyone is settled. But even them, they still don't settle. They still strive for more. Because that's the whole purpose of life. You're here for a reason. Am I going to waste my fucking time just scrolling TikTok? I'm happy that shit's getting banned.
Yeah, me too.
I'm fucking excited. And I hope there's nothing new that comes out of it. Because all that shit has done is make everyone lazy as fuck. It's made people post shit thinking they're going to make it. I'm happy for you and I hope you do. But you're losing the sight and the focus of what you have in front of you in your life just to scroll videos, find whatever you have to find a niche to hop into that niche.
Yeah.
Like social media has such influence and power over people and it's making them lazier and fucking lazier. The amount of people that I know that get out of bed or say their bed is so comfortable or say, I don't want to leave my bed. They order food to eat in bed. They get their homework and do it in bed. Bro, get the fuck up. Like get out, go on a walk. That's it. Just go on a walk, come back and do your homework. It really does not hurt that much. And medical standpoint, you can even tell me this. We can go on the medical standpoint of this. The only vitamin that the human body produces and can properly metabolize is vitamin D.
And K.
Okay, but what's the one that's going to benefit you the absolute most? K is beneficial, but we're talking like overall health functionality.
Okay, your body can, technically with K, it's like the bacteria in your body are producing it, and you get it through diet. But yeah, vitamin D. Mm-hmm.
Where do you get vitamin D from? What's the number one source of motherfucking vitamin D? That bitch up in the sky that's there for at least 12 hours in a month. The big man up there. How many people do not get that because they're so fucking lazy to wake up in the morning? You told me this when we were kids. I'm going to let you tag on this because when we were younger, you're like, how good does it feel when you wake up before the sun rises? You get to watch it rise.
Yeah.
How amazing does it fucking feel?
It's the best feeling in the world. It's like you're up before the world is.
But you do it once, you get fucking addicted to it, man.
It's an addiction.
And that's the best kind of addiction. It's a health addiction.
Yeah.
Why get addicted to some bullshit that's going to worsen your health when you could do something that's going to make yourself beneficial?
Not only is it better when you wake up before it, but it's even better when you wake up before you go outside and you let it shine and hit your skin, man.
100%.
You need that. It makes you human. And what the problem with those things like TikTok and all this stuff, like, look, don't get me wrong. We've all been in the whole thing of we scroll and we get into infinite scrolling.
But how long can you stay in that fucking hole, bro?
But it dehumanizes us, man. And it's not like those videos, the algorithm knows you, man. Every single video is great. It's amazing. Yeah. They know what they're doing. Every video is good. You're watching through them. Every single one's good. Of course they're going to be good.
If you're sad, every video is sad and relatable.
Yeah,
if you're happy, every video is happy and relatable.
All it does is it just keeps you locked. That's it. But you got to realize that's dehumanizing you, man.
Right.
Get outside. Let the sun hit your skin. Be a human. Be grounded. Feel your feet on the floor. And I don't know. But look, long story short, there's one thing that I always say. Our ego is the problem, man. Our ego is good in some ways and terrible in other ways. Yeah. Our ego is good whenever it's like, in terms of self-confidence and feeling like, yeah, you know who I am. Like, I feel good in my body. I feel good in my skin. And I know who I am. And that's a powerful thing to say. But sometimes ego goes overboard, just like with everything. It's a dichotomy. It's a double-edged sword. Yeah. On one side of the sword, it's nice. It's like it makes you feel like you. But on the other side of the sword, it tricks you and convinces you to believe things that are basically it fabricates reality just to make you feel good. And one simple thing is like comfort. Man, you don't need to chase your physical fitness goals. Who cares? Just be comfortable. You're good the way you are. Yeah. It's fine. Don't worry about it. That person who said he's an idiot, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You're good. Don't worry about it. And it's like saying these lies to you. It's ego. It's ego. 100% of the time. And I always say, do not chase a comfortable life because our ego convinces us that a comfortable life equals a happy life. No. Chase a meaningful life. If you chase a meaningful life, you will find your happiness. But if you chase a comfortable one, I guarantee you will be miserable.
It's harder to break that comfort to find your happiness after you realize the comfortable life did not provide you the happiness you wanted.
It never does.
It never does. It's hard to break that chain of habits.
It's like saying, what would you rather do? Win the battle but lose the war, or lose the battles but win the war?
Win the battles and win the war, brother. I'm taking all of them. Yeah, of 100%. Course. You win the war. You win the final result. What gets you the final results?
Exactly.
That's what you want.
So, but
otherwise, everything else is temporary.
Sometimes in those battles, sometimes we chase those short-term wins, those short-term gratifications, whether it's the scrolling, whether it's the donut on the table, whether it's I'm going to sit down and watch this TV show that came out. Oh, I heard true crime is not whatever. True crime, you could have I don't freaking know, man. Like, I got a girlfriend now. She watches true crime. Like, I don't know, dude.
Get her on Game of Thrones, bro. Get her on Game of Thrones, brother.
I'll get the Game of Thrones going soon.
Fucking hell.
I don't know what's the deal with girls and like crime mysteries and stuff. You know what's something funny about my girlfriend, man? I'll tell you something funny
First, tell her how much you love her.
Lena, you're amazing. I love you so much. You're a great, amazing person.
It's beautiful.
You know what's funny about her? She was like, one day she's telling me about like, I was watching this true crime documentary. Like this dude like kidnapped some girl running in a park and like cut her up and like they found like pieces of her body everywhere or whatever. I was like, what the hell? This is like freaking terrifying. Bro, the next day I FaceTime her, she's running in the park. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You just watched a video on how they cut up girls in the park.
Tell me how that makes any sense, man. Regardless, whatever. Pursue your health.
How do we just 180 that motherfucker?
I'm kidding. Jokes aside, love you. You're amazing. But no, what I was saying is, sometimes in those short-term battles, when you're chasing those short-term wins, you lose sight of the war, man. You lose sight of...
I can't take you. Bro, you just had a snap of true crime. Yeah. You had a snap of true crime, and then you just came right. Anyways, what I was saying,
Hey,
how
dude,
the fuck do you do that?
I'm an off-topic ass guy, man.
This guy remembers where he put a pause in the last sentence before he moved on to the next one, came back to this one.
You gotta take a tree.
That was like
branching
exact.
off.
Like, you didn't even go, wait, where did I leave off at? You're like, anyways, that's what I was saying. I just fucking jumped, bro.
Hey, man, I've been built for podcasts, bro.
That's insane. Wow.
Practicing Medheads podcast. Shout out.
Hey, honestly, I want to do that as a separate part. So you tell me this,
100%.
Because that's where I want to ask you advice on like college.
100%. Yeah. So it's like sometimes whenever we're chasing like the short-term wins with the battles, we lose sight of the long-term goals that we've set for ourselves, and we get comfortable. Look, I always say, like I told you, and I'll say it again: chase a meaningful life. Through a meaningful life, you will find a happy one. Don't chase a happy life. Don't chase a comfortable life. Don't chase an easy life. Those three things will not lead to happiness. They'll lead to maybe you'll be content at best.
Yeah, you don't want to
chase a meaningful one. Once you find your why, once you achieve that meaning, once you know why you're here and what you're doing and why you're here, it will get you through any how that gets put in your way, in a sense.
This guy put a fucking earthquake in my chest, bro. My heart started beating faster.
Tend to have that effect sometimes.
It's one of those like upbringing moments right there.
And another thing about like how do you fit like things in your schedule, right? That we talked about way back then. This is my simple answer. If you're anything like me, I'm a lazy person. In my like my nature.
I remember I took all your classes.
Of course. In my nature, I'm lazy. That's something that I have had to beat out of my system over years and years and years and years. And sometimes I still get lazy. I'm not perfect, but like, man, by nature, I'm lazy. Yeah. By nature, I am. That's like a weakness of mine where it's like, I'd rather do the easy thing than the hard thing. But that's something that I forced and brutally just like implemented in my mind. Like that is not acceptable. That is not an acceptable way of living. And one technique that I use is simply an engineering one, actually. How do computers work, man? Ones and zeros.
Ones and zeros.
Binary.
Yeah.
It's binary. It's a 1 or a 0. So I started asking myself these questions. Am I going to work out today? Yes or no?
0.
See? But when you put it this way, whenever I know in my heart, I'm like, yeah, the answer is yes. Yes. And you don't think about it. You just do it.
Yeah.
Am I going to eat that donut today? Yes or no? Am I going to, push that work that I know I need to do off today? Yes or no? Am I gonna just get up and start grinding at the tasks that I need to get done? Yes or no?
Baby grind on. Okay.
Turn it into a binary. Yes or no? No more maybe. No more think about it. Yeah. The hardest part about doing something difficult is not the actual task itself, but the amount of mental freaking gymnastics that you do in your head to get yourself to do the topic.
Like you got to convince yourself to do this.
Man, that is way worse than actually doing that thing. 100%. I remember it happens to me all the time. Like I have like this paper that I'm writing for this AI thing that we're working on at work. And I have this paper, I have to write it. I know I have to write it. Man, I was doing all sorts of mental gymnastics of like, I could do it tomorrow. I could fit it in this. And then when tomorrow comes, I can fit it in on Saturday. I'm going to have a full day, this and that.
Tomorrow you're watching the fight.
I got this, I got that. And then I realized I caught myself, what the hell am I doing, man? Like, I am, the act of thinking about me doing it is so much worse. Why don't I just sit down and freaking do it? Yeah. I sat down, start chopping away. I don't care. Let me write some garbage right now. If it's garbage, I'll fix it later. But I'm going to write. I don't care. It's not that bad.
If it's something that people enjoy doing, for example, if that's me and it's a game of basketball.
Okay.
Somebody asked me to game of basketball. I'm not thinking. I'm going, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. But if it's somebody asks me, hey, Dave, like I work. Can you take care of this task for me? Or if it's something at home, like I have a responsibility, something I have to take care of. Yeah. Say I'm continuing school. I'm in my master's program, right? Say it's like it's a procrastination aspect of things. Say I have something that I have to complete. I don't enjoy doing it. So I'm going to make up things and scenarios and take myself slowly to get to it. Why not just think of it like I'm playing basketball? How much better do I feel when I just jump on it and do it and get out? Yeah. So let me just jump on it, do it and get out. And then realize, fuck, now I got 3 days extra on my hands.
Yeah, now you got free time, man.
Instead of those 3 days, you're not enjoying those 3 days. Because for those 3 days, you're contemplating when you're going to start until the deadline comes to the point where you got to finish it. Yeah. And that applies to everything in life. Like, it doesn't have to be something that you have to submit. It could just be a hurdle that you're trying to get over in life. It could just be the simple fact of you starting an exercise or you starting your program in school or you starting something in your life.
or even a
It's
way
the
of
mental.
thinking.
Yeah, in general, it's an overall way of thinking of things. Because people could take it into friendships and relationships too, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you get in your head and start overthinking for 2 or 3 days. Do I contemplate going out with this person? Just fucking go, do your thing, come back out. Right? You
Yeah.
can't lose anything from an experience,
No.
is my point of all this. Like, if it's school, if it's work, if it's friendships, relationships, you can't lose in putting yourself out and stop overthinking it.
Yeah.
That's where your cortisol aspect starts coming into place too. Because what are you doing when you're overthinking? You're overstressing and anxiety is kicking in.
Yeah.
And all that's kicking in, your cortisol spiking. When your cortisol is spiking, you can't think properly. When your
Exactly.
cortisol is spiking and you're stressed out, guess what happens then? When you're stressed out, you don't eat as much, right? So what happens to your insulin, your glycogen levels? Obviously, same exact fuck thing. One goes up, one goes down. You just shit show, right?
So I think
It's a life balance, bro.
you throw yourself into a wretched loop.
Yeah, you
That's what I always call
voluntarily
it.
emotion. It's all based off of the emotion of things too. It's how you perceive something and how you should feel about something. How you make yourself feel.
What I always like to say is life is suffering, but don't suffer stupidly. Life is suffering. Terrible things happen.
Downwind, 10 miles per hour,
Terrible things happen, but
187 yards. He's about to send it home. with the chip.
95% of our suffering is self-induced.
Tiger Woods sends it home.
And if it's self-induced suffering, you're suffering stupidly. And we all do it.
If it's self-induced suffering, you're suffering stupidly.
Yeah. We all do it. All of us do it. All of
Right.
us do it. We spend more time thinking and torturing ourselves than simply accepting reality, making a plan, controlling the situation instead of letting the situation control us.
Right.
And sometimes controlling the situation means changing your mindset on things.
Absolutely, 100%.
What is anxiety anyways? Anxiety is simply, look, like a simple thing. Whenever you got things planned in a certain way and it doesn't work out the way that you want it to, you get anxious.
Right.
You know, you got your plan, you want things to turn out in a certain way, and it doesn't work out in that exact way, and you start getting anxious because you're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Did I do something wrong? And then you start throwing yourself into that loop.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta embody adaptability. How do you even say that word? Adaptability. You have to be adaptable. Look, I got verbal dyslexia, bro.
Verbal dyslexia is fucking insane. Go ahead.
You got to be adaptable as a person, man, and you got
That's
to
a good word.
You
You
got to
can use that
open
one.
your heart and you have to open your mind as a human being.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just gonna be tossed and turned and thrown around everywhere, man. Like the world's
And you're tossing and turning and throwing yourself around.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're doing it to yourself. The world's not predictable, man. You can't predict anything. So we got to adopt a mindset that allows for that. That allows for a level of uncertainty, a level of risk taking, a level of just who knows, whatever happens. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be fine, man. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really believe that. For example, you set up plans. You're gonna go to this Chinese restaurant today. You go, the Chinese restaurant is closed.
Thai restaurant.
Thai restaurant, whatever. Now you're with your girl or whatever, and you're trying to figure out what's the new restaurant I got to go to, and you feel a little level of anxiety, like, oh shit, like I got to remake my plans.
Small.
People just hate when plans change, and that applies from the smallest scale of restaurant picking to the larger scale of
Career path planning.
Exactly.
It's everyone's problem nowadays.
Yeah.
What was it? So for you, your shift. So you were in engineering before.
Yeah.
I think I know what shifted it. A conversation you had with your dad, or just a significant something around like engineering aspect of things where you realized this isn't something that I truly want to pursue.
Yeah.
It's more so, hey, my dad's been doing it. I want to jump in the path that he was. Like all of us are, right? We want to chase our role models. But what snapped to make you realize that you want to be your own person, and what got you on your feet to jump towards that goal? Because you didn't just jump on that goal. I'm going to glaze like a motherfucker right now again. This dude has been accomplished. He's been published in UCI journals. Dr. Allring, this guy who's one of the greatest fucking doctors you can ever think of in prostate cancer research, right? If I'm not wrong.
100%.
He performs surgeries from thousands of miles away on a robot from one place that performs into another place across the seas. That doctor brought Rafael onto conventions in Milan, in different places in Italy, went all throughout the world. Conventions everywhere, got speaker of the convention award, and people started asking him, oh, what practice are you in? And the simple answer of, I'm still a fucking student, shocks everyone in their face. Right? So you didn't just, my point of glazing is you didn't just, find a path and say, I'm going to do this. You found a path and you found a heart in that path. Because like you said, you're not going to find any type of success in anything unless your heart is in that same exact pattern, right? If your heart is beating if your heart's on a different wavelength, your mind's on a different wavelength, you're not going to pick the right choice because you're going to be conflicted and choose a third option that doesn't go either way. I think that's how everything works in life. If your heart and your brain do not work simultaneously together, you're not going to pick the one that's going to be happy for you. It's going to be the one that's content for you because you're just going to be okay with it. One of them's not going to be happy with the decision. So what was it that flipped that switch, made you jump from engineering of all fucking things, which you're really fucking good at, to medical field, and even in medical field go from neurology to fucking urology,
the other head.
You know, like you went from stem to stem. You went from one end of stem to other end of stem. You went from one end of head to the fucking, you know, we don't know which important
one head
head.
to the other.
Head
The most
to head, dome
important
to
head,
dome.
if
You know what I'm
ask me.
saying?
It's the most important head, bro.
Dome to dome.
That's a great question, man. And I appreciate, again, like, look, I'm not special by any means.
Yeah.
I'm just a person who found what they love and pursued it passionately. That's it. I'm not a genius. There's people who are way smarter than me. There's people who are way hardworking than me. But I love it. I love what I do. And I do it like that exactly. I play. That's what it feels like. I'm playing. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying.
That's how it should be.
That's
work shouldn't feel like work.
So what happened for me was I was pursuing engineering my whole life, man. And I love engineering. I love the way of thinking, the logic. And I feel like that actually, because I pursued it for so long, it gave me an advantage in medicine. Because of just medicine traditionally is filled with people who are very great memorizers. They love biology. They love memorizing, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, those kind of people, we love those people too. Like, they have their place in medicine. But the reality of medicine is there's nothing to memorize. There's things to memorize, but the core and the heart of the field is assessing. You're addressed with the problem, and you have to solve this problem, and you're the main problem solver of the team. Yeah. You essentially, a doctor and engineer are not so different. The only difference is the problems they're working on, but at their core are problem solvers. So coming from an engineering background where problem solving is essentially so emphasized and so much ingrained in what my personality, it helped me a lot in engineering. It helped me a lot in medicine, thinking of things in that light. But the change for me was like, look, I loved engineering, but I had to ask myself one day, and it was during the COVID pandemic when everything closed. And you know, it was like the first time where, as terrible as COVID was, but it was the first time that a lot of us had time to ourselves, where you can't go out, you can't hang out with friends.
Yeah, absolutely nothing to do.
Can't
you
do
wake
anything.
up, you're in that house.
You're home, and you have nothing but time. We had little classes. Everything went online, but classes were easier because of it.
100%.
So it's like, 10% of my day was dedicated to classwork. And it was the first time in my life where I had 90% of my day just to myself. Not first time in my life, but first time since I was like 8 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like, because once you start like high school, college, everything kind of gets in the flow. You're just like doing your schoolwork, classwork. You're always occupied. You're never thinking. Mm-hmm. You know, you're just kind of going through the flow. You're going with the motions.
Or we're playing Ark Survivor Evolved until 5
Exactly. You aren't yet like the main character of your own story yet.
Yeah.
You know, you're just kind of going with the flow and figuring things out. But that kind of, boom, there's massive halt. Not by choice, but by force, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I started going on very long walks. I started just taking my dog, Tyson. He's an old man now. But back then, he was a young little stud.
Yeah.
We would go on these long walks, and I would listen to podcasts, and I would just listen to all sorts of material and information and everything from science to medicine to life to philosophy to everything. And I just consumed hundreds of hours of information. I would just go on these long walks. And then after a certain point, I stopped listening to anything. I just would go on long walks and just think to myself. I just asked myself a simple question of, what is a meaningful life to me? Why am I pursuing engineering? Is it because I genuinely love the field and I genuinely want to be a great engineer? Or is it because, look, I love my dad and I respect him and he's my role model, and because he is the way he is and I look up to him so much, I just want to follow in his footsteps?
Yeah, and your two cousins that are your older brothers.
Yeah, my Vartan, Vahan, shout out to you guys. Your older brother, Karen. How much of it is because the people that I love and deeply respect and care about so much are pursuing the field, and that's why I just want to follow in their footsteps? And how much of it is because I genuinely think in my personality that's what I need to do?
Yeah.
And I asked myself that question. I realized no. But then that came up, then what do I do? What do I do? What fits my personality? And I just had this like very powerful feeling. And it maybe because it was COVID, maybe because not only was COVID, but my grandpa just died and all these other things were happening. The war in Armenia started.
Yeah,
There's
that
all
was-
this chaos. And my cousin in Armenia was at the front lines and all sorts of chaos. I just remember thinking to myself one day on one of these walks, like, man, there's so much chaos in the world. There's so much chaos in the world. And there's so much chaos that there's young boys my age right now being put on the front lines, not by choice, but by force. And their sole mission in life at this point is to contribute to this chaos and kill another young boy who grew up on the other side. They're not bad people, but whatever it is. But there's all this chaos in the world, this chaos and destruction, and it just breeds more chaos and destruction.
Right.
And then I thought, okay, besides Armenia, look back home. There's people overdosing on the streets. We know so many people who we went to high school
Yeah.
with, all they become hardcore
We
drug
saw
addicts.
them in
And
high school. Now we imagine what they're like after high school.
Yeah, like-
we saw them in college.
man, we know people who became homeless. We know people who like did all sorts of things. People who killed themselves. People who killed other people. Like it doesn't matter. There's so much chaos, not only abroad but at home.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't stop seeing this chaos, man. There's chaos everywhere. And then I thought to myself, I want to be somebody that, despite the chaos, can mend. That's it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. That despite the chaos, when lives are being torn apart, be somebody who can bring them back together. And I started investigating deeper into that question. What does that mean? How can I do that in a career? And I thought of all sorts of things, blah, 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 and I came down to, I think that's medicine. Your job as a doctor is daily, day to day. You are mending chaos. You are dealing with people in the worst day of their lives, their most vulnerable moments. And you are mending chaos. You are a beacon of stability, a beacon of hope, a beacon of peace.
Right.
And what's unique to medicine is that's your day-to-day job with people's lives.
Yeah.
Now, engineering, in a sense, you can argue it is as well, indirectly. But for me, the allure of it being a direct, like you're directly working with people's lives, you're this a beacon of trust. People trust you with the most sensitive information. And you get to be somebody who gets to mend the chaos. Man, to me, I thought that's a meaningful life.
That's fucking beautiful, man. Like, I've never heard anybody explain it that way. You know, most people you ask about the medicine, like medical field aspect of things, it's almost all of them, they've went through something in their life where it involved a medical trauma, right?
Of course.
Somebody passing away, somebody getting diagnosed with something, whatever the case may be. Others, it's in our culture, we grow up like you have to be a lawyer, doctor, or engineer. One of those big three.
Yep.
So it's the pressure of your family putting it on your shoulders. But what makes a difference between somebody who's a doctor and somebody who's a lifesaver, honestly, at the end of the day, is the passion they put towards their work, right? It applies to every single career, honestly. But when it comes to medical field, it's a little bit different because medical field isn't something easy. Just taking the MCAT is not something easy. Studying for that is not easy. Going through 4 years of medical school is not easy. Going through 2, 3, 4 more years of residency is not easy. Taking upon $250,000 in loans is not easy. Somebody who's willing to do all that is somebody who's willing to want it really fucking badly, that this is what they truly love and want to do. It's not somebody who's like, their salary is $250,000, maybe even $500,000. I need that type of money. When you're a doctor, you don't give a flying fuck about how much money you're making. You care about whose life you're saving and how good it feels to supply good in your community, in your service, as best as you can.
Ideally.
Now, there's going to be situations where you can't do the most, and that's where a lot of doctors also have their anxiety, their stresses, you know. It's the same thing as wartime veterans. They have their PTSDs and things they couldn't do. They tried their best but couldn't do. But even then, there's pride in that because you're the 1.00001% of people in this world that did try to do something. You know, how many doctors are there in the world compared to how many people are there in the world?
Small proportion.
And then that's the thing. There's a doctor, right? Now we go in depth. How many cardiologists are there? How many neurosurgeons are there? How many, you know, there's so many different fucking fields to go into where there's maybe 5 people in that in that category in our state. And you're one of the 5. You know, that, like, I think that's a sense of pride that you take upon yourself. That's when I salute doctors and people going in that field. Because, like, you could see it in someone's eyes when they say, oh, I'm in the medical field, I'm in pre-med. Or somebody says, oh, I'm going to medical school. You can see the pride in their eyes when they say that versus someone who doesn't even have to fucking say that. Somebody who just speaks about what they do and you see the passion in their face because they can't fucking stop talking. Like you, for example. Like, you speak, you can't stop. There's no brake pedal. You just realize at some given point, like, I need to stop at this point because it's probably good, because if I keep going, I'm going to have another topic to talk about. That's the difference between somebody who's just doing it to be content, tying back into our old conversation. Somebody's doing it to be content because it's going to provide them a very stable lifestyle, and somebody's doing it to make them fucking happy. And that's going to give them even better lifestyle. Like, even just thinking monetary-wise, when you're happy and you're doing it, you're pursuing it, you're going to get more money from it too. So I don't see why anybody would even pursue a path, especially somebody that's more advanced in your field, just for the fucking aspect of, I need to do this to make money and get out.
Yeah, I mean, some people are, man, and I don't blame them. Like, I understand. You know, people have different motivations for why they're pursuing this field. There's some, like, real, just, like...
As long as your intentions are pure and genuine, dude.
I hope so. I can't say it's 100%. Like,
Yeah.
I can't say 100% of the medical field has pure intentions. No, like, 100% of anything is... There's no such thing as 100% in the real world. There's no such thing. The only thing that's 100% is, yeah, we're all 100% human. That's about it. But outside of that, there's no...
I might be a little alien.
You might be a little Neanderthal, huh?
Buddy, I'm 5% lizard.
I'm definitely a little here and there, dude. I'm at 100%, you know, a little 100%.
Bro, we're 100% fucking, you
Martian,
know what we are. We're on that stimming.
No, bro, I'm Armenian, dog.
I'm 100% Armenian, up, eh?
Oh, bro, you hear me? No, bro, I'm Armenian, bro. Like, I'm from Glendale,
Du
dog.
krasiste kče Bangladesh, too. Fucking hell.
Oh, my God. But no, man, like, yeah, so, but I would say that in my life, I can't speak for anybody else in the medical field, but I can speak for myself that, look, there's easier ways to make money. There's easier ways to, quote unquote, become successful, depending on what that means for you. For me, becoming successful just simply means chasing a meaningful life, fulfilling my career goals and aspirations of helping as many people as I can, contributing to science, raising my own family one day, raising good kids who then go on and do good things. That's my definition
wealth.
of success.
That's wealth.
Yeah, I mean, it has nothing to do with like the extra monetary value. Sure, like, look, people always say it's like, oh, but if you weren't gonna make good money as a doctor, would you do it anyways? It's like, I don't freaking know. If I made the same money as an engineer, yeah, I'd do it, because it's like this is what I love. But yeah, obviously, if you told me if I made $5 an hour as a doctor, would you go through this insane training in this?
There's
like,
to
no,
a standpoint, you know, there's something you gotta understand. There's a staple amount that you need to take care of yourself.
Exactly. Look, nobody's saying that money doesn't matter, but I can guarantee you it's not even on my top 5 of the differential that I'm thinking about of why I'm pursuing medicine. It's not even in the top 5.
The only thing you need to know about money is it going to be enough to take care of me and my family?
100%.
That's all you need to know about money. As soon as that question
100%.
is checked off, you never have to worry about that ever again.
If you're passionate about something and you pursue it passionately, and, you know, hopefully you have some skill in that thing, but naturally that if you're skilled in something, you're going to like it because you're skilled in it. And if you like it, you can develop a passion for it, whatever. You will find your way of making money in that field for sure.
1,000,000%. Bro, that's what I fucking preach to everyone. Simple bullshit of cleaning trash, right? If somebody even has any passion towards it, bro, how much do you think recycling companies make? Millions, dude. Millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's obviously there's so many passions in the world. Like, one of my best friends, you know, Nautic. We had this conversation with Nautic, me and you especially, at our apartment multiple times about what does he want to do with his career. And it's always been a dictated future for him. It's like you've heard things from other people and seen things from other people, and you start comparing yourself and trying to do things because other people are doing it. But it's not your passion. His passion was towards cars, in the field of industry of cars, something related to cars, right? He found his passion now. It's great. I'm so happy for him. And he's doing fucking amazing. When it comes to money standpoint, he's doing very good. But when it comes to looking at the guy and seeing that he's smiling and happy, takes part of trips now, is more active in group chats, he's so much better as a person. Whereas before he wasn't, because he was trying to suffice to make his parents happy, because his parents said this is a great place, great field you should go into. He tried it. He was so unhappy with his life. You could see it in his fucking face. It's rotting in his face. I guess what I want to take from that little segment of things is one thing that bothers me the most whenever I ask people, why do you do what you do? You know, what gives you the passion and the drive? Which I'm going to ask you shortly, but what gives you the passion and the drive? And people say, oh, I want to do it to give back to my parents what they gave back to me. Or I want to do it to make my parents happy, right? That number one thing, that part. I want to do it to make my parents happy. That is where I get bothered a lot, because making your parents happy shouldn't mean making you unhappy. I love my parents. I will give my parents everything that there is to my name till the day I fucking die. At any given moment, I'll drop everything for my parents. And I think everybody would who has valuable parents and has a valuable family household like that. But you chasing something that someone else drew up for you will never draw your life in any happy standpoint. But I always put it this way. Imagine you chase something that your own happiness, right? Like you said, your own passions will always lead to your own success. So let's say, for example, I like training. My parents can't see that because in a parent standpoint, it's you have a degree, go to your degree. But I'm genuinely unhappy with my degree and whatever I'm doing. And it's an example of what happened because I quit my first job. You remember that. I had an engineering job for a year. I quit. My parents were so upset at me. But that's because they always want the best for you. But I found my happiness for myself, right? I found my success for myself. I did everything for myself. They got so happy in seeing me being happy. And in my happiness, I found success. In my happiness, I made my parents happy. I made everyone proud. And I'm exactly where I want to be. Because I chased it for myself instead of chasing it for someone else. Even though that someone else is near and dear to you, like your mom and your dad. So I think the number one fucking thing is always do everything for yourself in the sense of make yourself happy. Obviously I'm not saying fucking shoot cocaine up your... There's things, right?
Chase your meaning.
Chase your meaning. There's moral standpoints to things. Like, we're not talking about drugs. We're not talking about happiness in the sense of like momentary bliss, right? We're talking about career paths, and we're talking about your future. Chase whatever's going to make you happy now, that's going to plan for your future's happiness, and that's going to take care of everything else around you. You don't have to go block by block. I need to do this first, that first, this first, that first, this first, that first. Go straight to the point. And in doing that, it's a Christmas tree. Everything lights up with it. You don't have to light this side to light that side to light this side to light that side. If you could light the star at the top and everything trickles down, isn't that so much better? You took 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, or you took 5 years to go all the way to the top.
100%.
I think that's what life should 100% be like. I don't know. That was like a small little conversation. I always have this conversation, especially with Nada, because I think me and him go like deep into it. But rooting off this, everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a cause. Everybody has a reason to start, right? Everyone has something that motivates them. It could be like my biggest number one motivator always to the day I die is my brother. I love my parents, but it's my brother. My brother paved the way for me. He fucked up to teach me not to fuck up. You know, he did everything wrong so that he could show me what to do right. And obviously I'm going to do my own wrongs in a way. But as an older brother, he knows his role and his responsibility is he's going to be not set back, but when it comes to the age standpoint, it's going to take a little bit longer for him to develop something. But he knows he's doing it because for me, it's going to be a lot shorter. And I'm very blessed and happy for that. So when it comes to you, what was your number one motivator? What got you up? What got you going? What got you always in the morning waking up and thinking the way that you do?
My future children.
Damn, I didn't even look at it fucking like that. Jeez.
That's it.
Jeez.
My future children. My legacy.
The way your dad was thinking whenever he was doing what he was doing for you is the way you're thinking. Damn. So you're coming backdoor to father, but at the same time as future children. You get a little emotional with it, buddy. What's going on, bud?
Hey, man. That's the truth. I mean, realistically, that's what I think about. I mean, we have a short time on this planet, man.
Yeah.
We're lucky 80 to 100 years, right?
Yeah.
In that time, man, you got a short time to really make a difference. And this world has been good to me. No matter how many tragic things have happened, the world has been good to me because it's given me life.
Absolutely.
The least I can do is to contribute even 1 centimeter of good to this world.
Absolutely.
There's 2 ways to think about everything. We're a bunch of monkeys on a rock. Nothing matters. That's one way. You can just live your life and use that as an excuse to not take any responsibility for anything. Or you can say, we're a bunch of monkeys on a rock, floating in space. Everything matters. Because everything we do either elevates this rock or degrades it. Every decision we make either contributes to elevating the human species or degrading it. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And if you believe that is not, you are a fool. Every one of us have a light to bring into this world. And if you don't fulfill that responsibility, the world will be a dimmer place.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's a fact.
This guy became a pilisopai. Fucking hell.
So, for me, my purpose, what drives me is exactly that. Bring that light.
Yeah.
Spread as much of it as I can. And even if all it does is it just moves the world 1 centimeter into the right direction, I lived a meaningful life. And that's a life that my children, my future children, will look up and see and recognize and hopefully inspire them
be proud
to continue that legacy and then continue to do that and continue to push the world 1 centimeter in the right direction. And after fucking 100 generations, it's a lot of centimeters, man.
Yeah.
World will be a different place.
I mean, it's a different feeling when it's like, you know, your kids. One you as a parent would feel about your kid. It's like, that's my fucking kid. But like, imagine as a kid, like, that's my fucking dad.
Exactly.
Leaving that impact on a kid, somebody who's grown up to be aspired and inspired, that's the number one way to do it. But that doesn't start until you start. When they say it's day one day or day one, fucking start so you can have that legacy for your kids. So that one day when you have kids, they can look up at you and be like, holy shit, this guy built a fucking empire and he's my dad. So that means I'm getting it from him. I'm learning from the source. Yep. I'm spending every single day with this guy and I'm learning from him. Same way like how my parents are. They didn't build like a crazy empire, you know, but they built me and they built my brother. That's an empire to me.
It's not just your parents.
Us four is an empire.
Think of that. The millions of people.
Every impact. Every single little impact.
Dude, the thousands of generations that preceded you.
Right.
The thousands. Your last name is Khazarian.
How deep that goes.
How far back do we go? How many Khazarians had to survive and go through unbelievable life circumstances to survive
for me to be here right now,
reproduce, and to have children who raised up to be decent enough people to reproduce and go on and on and on. There's a chain of 1,000 people, millions of people, millions of organisms that lead down to a single cell.
Yeah.
So think about it. From a single cell all the way billions of years to make you who you are today, there's one direct line that leads to you. How fragile is that chain? One person died a little bit too early, you wouldn't exist.
It's a string. It's all one string.
It's unbelievable. But you know what that says? You come from a history of survival. You come from a history of perseverance and resilience.
Why stop now?
So you're bearing the weight of the ancestors on your shoulder. These people who sacrificed everything to lead to you. Man, we got a lot to do in this world.
We're only 22, 23 years old, man.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
There's so much to do, and we've only touched maybe 1% of it.
Yep.
Just because up until this point, we've been learning the process of getting to the point of being in a position to affect the world in some way. Now we're in that time where we have all the resources. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit at home and scroll your TikTok, or are you going to get up and try to make something happen? Make shit happen. That's the easiest fucking thing to say. Make shit happen.
A day comes.
Continue it.
A day comes when you realize that, are you going to control your life, or is your life going to control you? Are you going to be the main character of your own story, or are you going to be a side character of your own story? What do you want to be? Do you want to be a passive player in your own life, or do you want to be an active player in your own life? These are questions you have to ask yourself.
Define your purpose.
You have to find your purpose.
And I think there's... Go ahead.
Look, and it's okay not to have the answer.
100%. But it's amazing to be curious about what that answer is.
Curiosity.
It's not okay to be like, I don't have the answer, I'm never going to find it.
Yeah. Well, curiosity is what makes us human.
Absolutely.
I thought about it a lot. You know, like, humans, what are we? We're mammals. We're alive. We're organisms that breathe, replicate, whatever it is, you know? Yeah. So what differentiates us from just organisms in general? Maybe it's love. You know, maybe it's our ability to love. That's kind of what makes us a mammal, right? Mammals are, you know, they have bonds. They love, like a mom bear and its cubs, right? But what differentiates us from mammals? You know, besides love and a will to survive, in a sense, and a will to replicate. What differentiates us from that? Curiosity. That's what. Curiosity is what makes us human. Truly, when you go down to the core, the unique ability of humans to have a curiosity that so extends way beyond our universe in a sense. It's this grand curiosity. That's what makes us human, man.
Right.
I've never seen an animal look up to the sky. Never. Maybe a wolf howls and they look up, but that's about it. I've
Probably that
never
same amount of
seen
people, yeah.
an animal look up to the sky, but humans look up to the sky. Maybe it's just me. I don't freaking know. I don't think so.
Oh, hell no, I look up all the
We
time.
look
You
up to
see
the
a
sky.
small little thing moving, you're always like, what is that?
We see the stars and we wonder.
Yeah.
And we're curious. And then when you really think back to the old human generations, and you just kind of track the progress that humanity has made. If you look at the net progress of humanity, right? All the way back when we were, let's say, hunters and gatherers. Why do we keep progressing towards something?
Yeah.
Why did we not just stay there? Why didn't we just become hunters and gatherers and just be like, yeah, I guess that's all we're going to do?
Yeah.
Why not? Why did we build farms? And then after farms, why did we build villages? Why did we build civilizations? Why did we build countries and then cities and then empires and then transit systems and then rockets? And we're, as a humanity, the net force is we're going towards something. And what driving that force is curiosity. So the most important thing that I would say before we have to go today is a few things. One, do not lose touch of your curiosity. That's what makes you human.
Yeah.
If you ever feel disconnected from your passions, your goals, your true aspirations, reconnect with that childish curiosity. When you're 8 years old and you look up to the sky and you wonder, reconnect with that, because that's what makes you human. That's what uniquely makes you human. That's one. Two, whatever goals and aspirations and dreams you've set, they are genuinely achievable.
Absolutely.
To a certain extent. Even if you achieve 50% of it, that's a freaking win, if you ask me. And the only thing limiting you is you and your own mind and your own ego tricking you that being comfortable is actually the right move. No.
You're your biggest enemy. You're your biggest competitor.
You can be.
You're the only thing stopping you from being amazing.
Exactly. You
No one
definitely
else
can be.
stop you.
And you hear all sorts of things. Oh, but other people are doing this, other people are doing that. No, doesn't freaking matter. There's only one competition that matters.
Right.
You today versus you yesterday. That is the only competition that matters. All other competition is bullshit. If you compare yourself today to where somebody else is today, you're making a bad comparison.
Absolutely.
Apples to oranges. Compare yourself today to who you were yesterday, and you keep that comparison. That should be the only competition that you should have within yourself, and you move forward.
And with that, I want to say something on that because I did it last time. I'm going to do it forever. Is I want to end every podcast with a quote, something that sticks. Last time it was sacrifice for what you want, or what you want becomes a sacrifice. Now that you mentioned this, which is I was even planning this before, it's crazy how we came to the ending is exactly how this ended. Comparison is the thief of joy. You start comparing yourself to anyone around you, no matter how aged, no matter what gender, no matter who they are. You compare yourself, you're going to lose all joy in what life is really about. Because life is joyous when you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
It's joyous in the fact of, yeah, I have to go to work and I have to do all these things, but what's going to happen? You know, is there going to be a sick-ass sunrise, sunset? Am I going to go to the gym, meet someone crazy? Am I going to come home and some crazy news? Everything's a mystery, and that mystery is joyous. So you can start comparing yourself to people. What do? You spend your days sitting at home looking like my friend's doing this and I'm not doing anything. My friend's made this much money, I've only made this much money. You start comparing yourself to anyone around you other than the person that you see in the mirror, and you're going to take all joy out of life. You're only going to live your life as if you're working a 24-hour job. Your day-to-day, when you open your eyes to close your eyes, is going to be a job. And nobody ever wants to work that way. So it all ties back into even the first thing that we said. Don't live to be content. Live to be meaningful. And because meaningful leads into live to be happy. It's as simple as that. And the fact of the matter that all of it is a choice. I could wake up tomorrow and decide I'm going to be sad as fuck. I could wake up tomorrow and say I'm going to be the happiest person on the planet. It's all a choice. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a mental stability that you have to have, right? You can't just like choose to do that all of a sudden and stay like that forever. You have to be mentally happy and healthy. In doing so, there are steps you could take. Your nutrition matters a million. Your exercise matters a million. How much you sleep, your rest matters. Everything ties in together. Like you said, we're a robot. We're a well-oiled machine. You told me this in the balcony in Irvine. You're a well-oiled machine. One day you're out of oil. You choose not to add it. Guess what? You're gonna break down and malfunction. You keep your maintenance up at a proper rate. guess what? You're going to be the greatest engineered machine to ever exist. So your body is a well-oiled machine. Your food is your fuel. Your exercise is your oil. Everything else is simple little stuff, gears and everything moving in order, right? One thing goes off, you have to fix it. You can't just sit and say, forget about it, I'll do it later. Forget about this, I'll do it later. Forget about that. Then you just break down all of it, like all together.
Everything falls apart.
How much harder is it to fix something that's fully broken than fix a broken part? So
Way harder.
Why not just once you realize something's broken, sit back. You have the fuck moment. It broke, right? Sit down, fix it, get back up going. Instead of I broke, I'll figure it out later. When it all falls apart in front of you and you lose everything, mental instability now. You can't be happy. You're going to start comparing because you're not happy. Everything's a fucking domino. Your career is not going to be set. Nothing's going to be set. So, long story short, stop comparing yourself. No matter how much somebody around you has achieved, no matter what age they've achieved it at, no matter what, your story has its ending. It depends on your actions on how that ending ends and how it's written up until that point. Is it just fillers or is it a story that you want to keep reading more? So with all that, medical episodes, anything you ever want to know, any type of questions, anything at all, my boy has a podcast, MedHeads Podcast. One of the most informational. I'm a fucking engineering student, and I was an engineering student at the time, and I don't even know anything about medical, like school or anything, but I listen to his podcast just because it's so informational, even applies to my personal training standpoint, learning and understanding about the human body. Any questions? I know you guys do help in people that are trying to apply for MCATs. Anything pre-med. People trying to go through that whole process that are so confused and flustered. So if you are in that pre-med plan, in that path, hit him up. He's open for questions, I believe.
Always.
I think he's a very information-giving human. And yeah, he's one of my best friends. It's amazing to fucking share advice in a balcony, to share advice in front of camera for people to see. But I know if we yap, bro, we'd go on for hours.
Easily.
Yeah.
There's like probably a billion things we can talk about. We have to do another episode, man.
It's coming. It's coming,
some
buddy.
like science, some
It's coming.
testosterone.
The next episode, stay tuned. Next episode is going to be conspiracy theories.
Oh.
Because we're going to go into our time dimension theory. I'm going to go into a theory of what I think ghosts really are, the multi-dimension theory. And we're going to go into a lot of crazy shit.
I'm looking forward to it, brother.
That's that. Look, cheers, buddy.
Long story short, this is... Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
All right.
Let's go on.
The last thing I have to say is this. For those who are stuck in that wretched loop, the unknown is terrifying. It's scary. But there's two ways you can look at it. You can look at the unknown as this horrible monster that's lurking in the distance, and you can cower in your home, in your comfort, in your bed sheets, and never face him. Or you can look at it and recognize that it's just an adventure waiting to happen. And I'm not asking you to be scared or to not be scared. I'm not asking you to be fearless. Fearlessness is foolishness. Only stupid people are fearless because they don't recognize how dangerous life can be. I'm not asking you to be scared or to not be scared, sorry. I'm asking you to be brave in the face of the unknown. You have your dreams. You have your goals. You have your aspirations. You have the things that you know deep down you can achieve. Take the adventure. I promise that choosing adventure and choosing meaning will ultimately result in a happy, meaningful, good, and valuable life. A life that actually meant something. So when you die, it wasn't for nothing. You left your mark. Don't let fear paralyze you. Be brave. That's it.
10 out of 10. Thank you, bud.
Of course, brother. Thanks for having me.
I got a piss.
Me too.